Now we will continue the poem from line number 91. For thee, who mindful of the unhonored dead, dost in these lines their artless tale relate, if chance by lonely contemplation led, some kindred spirit shall inquire thy fate. This stanza is writing poet himself. He's talking about himself. For thee, who mindful of the unhonored dead, he said that the poet who is very much thoughtful about the people who are unhonored, dost in these lines their artless tale relate, and who is relating the tale of these simple forefathers of the village, if chance by lonely contemplation lad, some kindred spirit shall inquire thy fate. It may be possible that after his death he may be unknown to the rich and famous people, but at least these poor people will notice him, and some kindred spirit, someone like him, will inquire about his fate. It means someone like him, a poet who is interested in common people, will also write about his death after his death. Haply some hoary-headed swain may say, oft have we seen him at the peep of dawn, brushing with hasty step the dews away to meet the sun upon the upland lawn. In the next four five stanzas, he is talking about his own self, that someone in the village noticed him and how they will talk about him. Haply some hoary-headed swain may say, he says that one day by chance maybe some old shepherd will say about me, oft have we seen him at the peep of dawn. Often we have seen, a shepherd will say after his death, that often we saw him early in the morning, brushing with hasty steps the dews away, passing very thoroughly on the meadows to meet the sun upon the upland lawn. In order to see the rising sun, he always walks very fastly. There at the foot of yonder nodding beech that wreathed its old fantastic roots so high, his listless length at noontide would he stretch and pour upon the brook that babbles by. And he says that these forefathers or these old men will notice every activity of him during his lifetime, so they will tell that in the afternoon he moved far away under the trees, and he would stretch his body there, he rest there for some time and enjoy the murmuring sounds of the brook. Hard by yon wood, now smiling as in scorn, muttering his wayward fancies he would rove, now drooping woeful wan like one forlorn, or crazed with care, or crossed in hopeless love. And the old man will also describe that his behavior was very abnormal and uncommon. Sometimes he smiles, sometimes he murmur in his imaginations, sometimes he would sing, and sometimes he becomes very sad and paleful like an orphan, and sometimes he maddened with care, he cares for the simple forefathers of the village crossed in hopeless love, and sometimes it seems that he has failed in his love affair. So his mood was not constant, his mood keep on changing. All these things are said about the poets by a village person. This is only the imagination of the poet, that after his death people will remember him like this. One morn I missed him on the customed hill along the heath and near his favourite tree. Another came, nor yet beside the rill, nor up the lawn, nor at the wood was he. One morning the old man missed him on the customed usual place where he met him or where he saw him. The old man missed one day along the heath and near his favorite tree, and in the afternoon he did not saw him near the lake and under his favorite tree. And then another day came, nor yet beside the rill, nor up the lawn, nor at the wood was he. And another day come, but he was not seen on the mountain, beside the rill, beside the brook, or in the woods resting on his own. So the old man will miss that the person is missing somewhere. The next with dirges due in said array, slow through the churchway path we saw him borne. But the third day he will came to know that his procession was carrying towards the church with a mourning song. Approach and read, for thou canst read the lay graved on the stone beneath yon aged thorn. So he will go there, he will go to the churchyard. The old man of the village, he will came to know that the poet is dead. He missed him for 2 days on the mountain, in the woods and near the lake, and he missed. And third day he came to know that the poet is dead. So he will go to the churchyard, he will go to the graveyard, he will search his grave in that graveyard, approach and read. And he went there and tried to read the epitaph that is written on the grave, graved on the stone beneath yon aged throne. And he was buried under a very old tree. The old man went there, but he cannot read the epitaph. So he called someone who is passing by the way, and he requested him to read out the whole epitaph. It means इस कविता में पोइट खुद अपनी डेथ को इमेजिनेशन कर रहा है, और लास्ट जो लाइंस हैं ये एपिटैफ है, जो कि थॉमस ग्रे वांटेड कि उनकी जो ग्रेव है उस पर कुछ भी स्पेशल ना लिखा जाए, बट ही इज़ ट्रीटेड जस्ट एज अ कॉमन मैन, और उनकी कॉमन क्वालिटीज़ को ही डिस्क्राइब किया जाए। तो वो एपिटैफ उन्होंने खुद ने इस पोएम में लिखा है लास्ट में। तो ओल्ड मैन एक पासर बाई को, एक जाते हुए व्यक्ति को बुलाता है, बिकॉज द फार्मर्स आर not educated, they did not know how to read. So he called someone passing by there and he requested him to read the epitaph. और जो epitaph है वो इस तरह से लिखा गया है, उसमें क्या कहा गया है ये अब हम पढ़ेंगे। Here rest his head upon the lap of earth. Here this man is resting on the bosom of the earth, a youth of fortune and to fame unknown. He was a youth who was unknown to fame and fortune. It means he was not famous, he was not fortunate enough to become the attention of the world. Fair signs frown not on his humble birth. He was very humble, he was very meek, and he was gentle, but he did not have a great knowledge of sciences, and melancholy marked him for him own, and he was very much devoted to the melancholy. He was a very sincere and sad and melancholic person. Large was his bounty and his soul sincere. He was very kind. His heart was very large, he was very kind, and his soul sincere. He was a very sincere person. Heaven did a recompense as largely send. He gave to misery all he had, a tear he gained from heaven, a friend. It was all he wished. Heaven did a recompense as largely sent. He gave to misery all he had, a tear. But God recompensate everything for him. He gave him friends who will mourn on his death and who will shed tears on his death. And this is the only thing that poet wants, that people will remember him after his death with a sad heart. They will shed tears on his death. And this is the thing that he got after his death, because that old man of the village is shedding tears on his death. no further seek his merits to disclose or draw his frailties from their dread abode. There they alike in trembling hope repose the bosom of his father and his God. No further seek his merit to disclose. Now he does not want someone to disclose his good qualities, to discover his good qualities and represent them before the world. He does not want it, nor draw his frailties from their dead abode. And he also does not want to expose his frailties, his weaknesses before the world. And now he is resting in his abode, he is resting in his grave, so he does not want anyone to expose his qualities or weaknesses. There they alike in trembling hope repose. Now qualities or the weaknesses, they all become alike, and he is resting at the he is resting in the lap of his father, that is God, and he wants to rest there peacefully. So he wants that people should not disturb him by exposing his qualities or the weaknesses. Now this is the end of the poem.